games. They tried so hard to give that game to the Saints in the Superdome. They ended up winning because Drew Brees choked in his red zone and because of a bad pass interference call at the end of regulation. So that should have been a loss right there. They tried insanely hard to give that game to the Giants at MetLife, but Eli Manning decided to throw 5 interceptions and hand the game to the 49ers right back. And then last week, they just barely beat the Washington R-Words 17-13. Their luck streak is going to end. The Seahawks are going to come into San Francisco and absolutely whoop the 49ers. I agree with you guys. I really don't like Colin Kaepernick this year. I didn't really like him to begin with. Russell Wilson's a much better quarterback. And we'll see what Marshawn Lynch can do after his pretty short press conferences. What do you guys think of that?
I found the Richard Sherman one of yesterday a lot funnier than the Marshawn Lynch instances.
With the I thought the Richard Sherman was pretty funny.
That was pretty
great. And it was true. A lot of it was true. The thing with the beats and stuff, that I thought wasn't, the NFL pays a lot of money to pros and stuff for supposed to sponsor them. So I can see why the NFL say don't talk about beats or can't wear beats anymore. But everything else in that press conference was great. I mean, I loved it. A lot of guys loved it. NFL, probably not, but everybody else, they probably loved it too.
So one last question about the Seahawks. Snowball, I'll start with you. What is Marshawn Lynch's future like?
Marshawn Lynch's future with the Seahawks? I think he's going to stay. I mean, he really... I remember talking about this in the summer with you guys. Marshawn Lynch, he's gotten a lot of carries in his career. Can he still do what he's been doing?
Because he was talking retirement last year, if you remember.
Yeah, and he has done just as well, if not better. So I think Marshawn's going to stay. The Seahawks have to keep him because they really, they're not going to get any other better running back than this. I mean, even if they say they could get DeMarco Murray or Adrian Peterson, Marshawn Lynch is the hardest guy to tackle in the NFL. So I would take Marshawn Lynch any day right now. The Seahawks, I think they got to do anything they can to keep him. So I think he'll stay in Seattle.
CB, you agree?
I find it hard with all the trouble that they've had between him and the front office there that he's going to stay. Obviously, he's very important to that offense, especially with not really a lot of talented wide receivers and losing their most talented wide receiver in Percy Harvin. He's an important part of that offense, but I just think that they just don't have a good enough relationship for him to want to stay there. He was very upset when Percy Harvin left, and there's obviously starting to become some chemistry issues in that locker room. But I just find it very hard to, even with his talent and how much they need him to be an integral part of that offense, I find it very hard to see him coming back there next year.
Yeah, I really don't think he's going to stay there. It's going to be his decision, not the organization's. I don't think they'll be able to keep him. But I'm sure he'll find a home elsewhere.
Definitely.
So, we'll move on. Hopefully, 3-0 Thanksgiving for me. I don't know about these guys.
So, most likely a 1-2 Thanksgiving for you is what I'm getting out of this. Matt and I are looking 3-0.
Hopefully, yep.
Well, we'll see.
There's no hope. We need to take over. We're going to take over, Stevie. Just wait.
There's no hope. There's no hopefully when Nick's picking the Cowboys over the Eagles with a 4.5-point spread.
If you guys recall, I was the only one of us who picked the Cowboys over the Seahawks. I don't know what you have to say about that. You guys have an alarming lack of faith in Tony Romo, who I believe is an elite quarterback.
No, I had an alarming lack of faith of anyone playing in Seattle before I learned that the Seahawks had some major issues. And then the Eagles, I just think, are better. I have faith in Mark Sanchez, and I have very much faith in Eagles defense and special teams, who every other week puts up 15-plus fantasy points.
All right, well, we'll see about that. So we are moving on to our second segment of the night for our Thanksgiving special. The biggest turkeys of 2014. So, it just so happened that we ended up having an all-New York edition. So, CB, I'll let you start off.
All right, well, I decided to take John Idzik here. Just all the news that we've been hearing about him in the New York area is really pretty funny. I saw another story today about a Fire John Idzik banner or sell the team in reference to Woody Johnson. So I found that really funny. John Idzik took over as the Jets general manager and left so much cap space. It's unbelievable for the Jets. And the news came out today that apparently Rex Ryan knew he was going to be fired at the end of this year before this year even started. So because Idzik wanted his own guy. But Idzik's not going to get his own guy because he's been one of the worst general managers of all time. The only thing remotely decent he did was trading for Percy Harvin, who really can't help that offense much.
He also drafted Sheldon Richardson, which is not a bad pick.
Yeah,
but his draft picks this year are absolutely atrocious.
Look, the Jets organization is a mess from top to bottom. I think it all starts with Woody Johnson. John Idzik is terrible. Well, Woody Johnson,
I don't think Rex Ryan's actually that bad of a coach. I think
he would be a fantastic defensive coordinator, like his brother and his father. But he's not. The Ryan family is not meant to be a head coach.
I think that's also a fair statement, but I think he did a lot better as with the Jets coach, considering they had very little talent in any of his time there. Never really had a quarterback except for when he had Brett Favre. I just think that he's getting unfairly written out of town because of John Idzik's incompetence. And again, they should be doing a lot better than 2 wins. But I think this team has some major issues, and they definitely do need to clean house, though. And it's John Idzik's fault for a lot of things, especially leaving so much cap and having some terrible draft picks this year.
I completely agree with you. If you look at the Colts, what they did after they drafted Andrew Luck, immediately after they drafted Andrew Luck, most of their picks in that draft were wide receivers, tight ends, or offensive linemen to help him out. The Jets, what they did after they drafted Mark Sanchez is they went completely defensive. I believe it was the next 3 of 4 years. Their first
and still didn't let Mark Sanchez get any free reign in that offense, and that's why he struggled in New York.
That's true. And not to say that he's a great quarterback, because I think he's the perfect example of a system quarterback right now. But that organization is a mess. Woody Johnson doesn't know what he's doing. John Idzik doesn't know what he's doing. Rex Ryan is a good defensive guy, but I don't think he's head coach material. Plus, the entire organization has Joe Namath breathing down their necks, which is never good. So the Jets are just a mess. They would need a completely new culture. They need a new owner, new GM, new coach, new quarterback. If they even have a quarterback right now, I think they're starting Geno Smith on Sunday. Is that correct?
Yeah, yes. And Rex Ryan had apparently no say in that as well, which is another problem. Your head coach can't have no say in anything.
I don't understand. Who made that decision?
It appears that he never had any say in quarterback situations.
So, who made that decision? John Idzik?
I believe it was, I don't know exactly who it was, but it was someone in management. I would assume John Idzik had some sort of say in it.
The Jets organization, what they did was, when they traded for Tebow, they listened to the fans. When the fans chanted for Tebow, they started Tebow. This season, when they started chanting for Michael Vick, they started Michael Vick. Michael Vick was terrible. So now they're starting Geno Smith. I think it's only a matter of time before Matt Sims gets in there. And you know what they're probably going to do is they're going to get a good draft pick this year and waste it on a D lineman, which is a position they already have filled. I'm going to put that down. That's my prediction for the Jets draft this year. They're probably going to do that.
What are they going to do? I'm sorry, I missed it.
They're going to draft a defensive player in the first round at a position they already have filled.
So they're going to sign Ndamukong Suh and then sign another D end or another D lineman.
Well, I mean, they already have Sheldon Richardson. I like him a lot. They probably just draft another D lineman or D Milliner. They draft another cornerback.
They have no corners, though. Let's be realistic here.
The secondary period.
Okay.
They have nothing.
So just put down D lineman. I think they're pretty well off at that position. But without further ado, we'll move on to my turkey of 2014, which is none other than Snowball's favorite quarterback, Eli Manning. Snowball, do you have anything to say before I go on to this rant about your favorite quarterback?
Just get over with.
All right. Like I said before, the 49ers tried so hard to give that game to the Giants, but then Eli Manning, as only Eli Manning could do, threw 5 interceptions throughout that game. I do not understand how this guy has won 2 Super Bowls. He's absolutely atrocious. It's not like he doesn't have people around him. We saw Odell Beckham Jr., the stuff that he can do. And that has no bearing on whether Eli Manning throws interceptions. His O-line hasn't been the greatest throughout his career. But even still, you can't be putting up numbers like this. He's absolutely terrible this year. And I can't help but think the Giants are looking back saying, why did we trade Phillip Rivers for this guy? Eli Manning pulled a total John Elway at the 2004 draft. Said he wasn't going to San Diego. So then the Giants decided to trade Phillip Rivers for the Chargers. And I think the Chargers got a better end of that deal. I think Eli Manning got lucky in 2 Super Bowls. And this year he's been atrocious. That's why he's the biggest turkey of 2014.
I want to say so much to you right now, but I'm just, Thanksgiving, be thankful for things. So I'm just going to let this one go, but
Okay.
come either Saturday or show up for that.
So
Just wait.
we'll
It's going down!
we'll discuss Eli Manning at a later date. So Snowball can.
That hurt. See, that hurt, Nick. That hurt.
How did that hurt? He's
That
just
hurt.
terrible.
Saying that we should have never traded.
Well, I mean, Ben Roethlisberger did win a Super Bowl, so
He's won
bad
2 Super
quarterbacks
Bowls.
Can win Super Bowls.
Look,
And
Ben
Ben
Roethlisberger.
has pretty equivalent stats to Eli. So.
Ben Roethlisberger won 2 Super Bowls, and you can argue the second one he might have gotten lucky in, although he did lead that last drive. You can argue that.
Eli Manning has more Super Bowl MVPs than him, so...
Okay.
Exactly.
Do you really want to award that MVP to Eli Manning when David Tyree saved that game?
Yes, I'm still
There was
winning
no
for
one
Eli.
else to give it to, so they had to give it to Eli.
Confidence, man. Cool, calm, collected in the Super Bowl.
In
last
Super
few
Bowl
minutes
43,
Every
Antonio
quarterback
Holmes-
should win Super Bowl MVP. It just shows how bad Ben Roethlisberger is that he can't win.
It wasn't that he was
Exactly.
bad. Santonio
Look
Holmes
at the
set a
last
record.
few Super Bowl MVPs, except for last year.
Malcolm Smith, a linebacker.
Right, Aaron Rodgers won one. Drew Brees
Yeah,
won
Joe
one.
but did
Flacco.
Russell Wilson actually get in the first half of that game? I can't actually remember that.
Second half of me.
All right.
No, the first half. Didn't they have 4 pick sixes or something in the first half?
sure.
And a special teams touchdown.
Percy Harvin returned one. Yep.
I mean, that's that. I give Russell Wilson a pass there because he didn't even have to do anything. The game was already over.
All right, that's fair. Snowball, who's your turkey of 2014?
My turkey is A-Rod.
Well, that's tough to beat.
A-Rod, he's my turkey because he didn't play. He didn't have a single at bat this year. Didn't see a single pitch. Because of the allegations with the biogenesis case. Now we're hearing rumors that he peed in his cousin's house?
He peed on his cousin's carpet because he
carpet
bribed
to
his
mark his
cousin.
territory, like a dog, right?
Yeah. He also paid his cousin $900,000.
This is a guy who, was at one point people were saying that he was easily going to pass Hank Aaron and be a top 5 great in MLB history, and now
Yeah, remember those days? Wow.
what?
Like I said, wow. Remember those days when he was going to pass Hank Aaron?
Yeah, and now we see him as most people see him as a disgusting piece of filth who's just arrogant and cocky and cheat his way into all the money that he has made over the years. He's pretty much the definition of a turkey, just being a guy that no one likes and someone who didn't play at all this year, didn't help the Yankees at all this year, and now he's going to be one of a...
And he's still making all that money.
Yeah. And he's now going to be one of the main centerpieces for a falling Yankee team. And A-Rod is 30, 37, 38. I mean, I'm going to look
Something
at
like that.
I'll find the exact age